Hi. Hello, hello, hello. I'm so sorry. It's been a day. Can you all hear me? Oh my gosh. Thank you all for holding down the fort. I really truly appreciate that. Hi, Blake. I don't have any classes in here. I hurried to get home. And actually Kevin did because I'm still having problems with the hips. I did get some test results back. First, can you all hear me? I'm looking like these, but I need them. Anyway, can you all hear me? Okay, good. Hi, Aurora, Diana, Brent. Hi, honey. Haven't seen you in a while either. Ashley, Amy. Hi, honey. Just hello, hello, hello to everybody. It's been a day. Kids, yeah, I'm not a fan of these, but my other glasses are on the opposite end of the house. I've missed you too. I have missed you all. Oh, has she, Diana? Okay. So I had my MRI yesterday, and it actually went very well because I did the big MRI, and they were able to put me in feet first. Yes. So I didn't need a sedative or anything. So that was really good. Yes, I got test results back. I don't know what the hell any of it means. Got a freaking clue. Something about the L4, the L5, the L3. I don't know. Mild this and da 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 da. Yeah, the one that makes you feel like you're in a coffin. But this one is big, Diana. I did not feel like I was in a coffin. So it went very well. I'm going to have to see an orthopedic surgeon. And we'll go from there. But right now, if they said, hey, we can stop your pain, all you got to do is French kiss a goat, I would French kiss the freaking goat because the pain. My chiropractor has been amazing. I love Joe. I really do. I really, truly do. And he has helped immensely. But a new pain came up. So Joe got rid of the other pain. But then Sunday morning I woke up and I'm like, this is new. And it just feels like the something wants to fall out of the socket. That's just what it feels like. Well, I don't mind getting older, Amy. I really don't. It's the shit it's doing to my body that really pisses me off. Pardon my language. So yeah, I think I think I might need a hip replacement. But knowing me, nothing is ever just plain and simple and easy. Knowing me, I have an ingrown toenail that I'm not aware of, and it's causing all this pain. Seriously. So it says multi-level degenerative changes of the lumbar spine as described above. Most prominent at L4, L5. No high-grade spinal canal or neural foraminal stenosis. I don't even know what the hell that is. Transitional lumbosacral anatomy as described. As counting from above, it's not possible for purposes of this dictation that last well-formed disc space is labeled as L5S1. The right L5 transverse process enlarged with pseudo articulation to the sacral ala. I don't know what any of this means. I just don't. Alignment is normal. That's good to know. Bones, vertebral body heights are maintained, even though I've shrunk. Bone marrow signal is appropriate for age. No significant osseous edema or abnormal enhancement. That's good to know. Segmental analysis, multi-level disc desiccation, most prominent at L4 and L5. Preservation of disc height, mild, multi-level, marginal. Why do I always want to put a P in stuff? Or a B. Mild, multi-level, marginal osteophyte production. Additional level-specific findings as follows. T12L1, mild circumferential disc bulge, mild facet hypertrophy, circumferential disc bulge, mild facet, disc bulge, blah, 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 blah. Ligamentum flavum thickening. Now, see, that sounds like something that's an ingredient in like donuts or something like that, right? Flavum? What the hell? What the hell is that? Ligamentum flavum thickening. It just sounds like cornstarch or something. Sorry. Anyway, but the pain is new. The new pain is different. I'll put it that way. And Joe didn't want to adjust me until after we get the results from this MRI. I did one without, that's the without contrast. And then I had the contrast. This girl was so good. I don't even have a bruise from where she put the IV in. So anyway, I'm seasoned. Yes, I'm a seasoned individual. You're thinking cooking? Oh, anyway, I'm doing okay. Using my cane all the time again, simply because it just feels like something wants to pop or fall out of the socket. So it's a new adventure in pain. Did not get my hair cut last week because my stylist texted me early in the morning, said, I'm not feeling well. Can we reschedule? So I'm going in tomorrow at 5 to get my hair cut, which I desperately need. I'm going to have a mint. And yes, I understand that it can be really loud. So I'm going to try really hard not to chew on it or bang it against my teeth. I'm going to do my best, but I need a mint. Anyway. Okay. Extravertebral soft tissues, mild dorsal, paraspinal, and gluteal muscular atrophy. What the hell is that? I just don't know. So there is an unremarkable appearance of the cauda equina nerve roots and phylum terminale or terminal. I don't know. Anyway, waiting for the second part to get back. See the rheumatologist next week, then get a referral for the osteo whatever. I don't know if it's an ortho, not osteo, ortho. I don't know if it's going to be an orthopedic doctor, specialist, surgeon. I don't know. When I know, you'll know. So, how the hell is everybody? Is everybody doing good? Show of hands. Who is having a really good day? I had a great day. I'm trying to find something. Let's swoop. I love that swoop. Anyway, because I knew I was taking my grandkids shopping after school today, I did nothing all day long. To try and save myself, because I knew once we started shopping, that's my goal in life now. I just want to be able to go through, Target or Walmart without my cane, without holding on to the shopping cart and walking weird. That's my new goal. No pain. I just want, or less pain. That would be awesome. Did anybody get any writing in today? I did not. I knitted. I found some new yarn that I love. And no, I don't. Oh, yes, I do. Anyway, For anyone who got to write today, this is for you. Y'all are flipping awesome. And congratulations to anyone who is writing, has been writing. Michaela said I got a print book proof sent to me on another book, Interior Re-Edited. And oh yes, I've written about 1,400 words in. Good for you, Michaela. That is freaking awesome. That deserved a special congratulations, I thought. Good for you. Good for you. Ashley? She has not said yes to the dress yet. I don't know what that means, Amy. What am I missing? Yay, Aurora. Good for you. Jennifer's reading. Good job. Good job, Diana. Web design is fun. Oh, you went wedding dress shopping with your daughter. Oh, Amy. That is awesome. When I went wedding dress shopping with Debbie, she picked a dress that I never, ever, ever, ever thought she would pick, right? Because Debbie's more of she's a good girl, very logical thinking. She loves makeup, and hair and stuff like that. But I really thought she would pick, I don't know, something beachy. She ended up with this princess dress that, it just knocked your socks off. Had the big skirt and sparkles and bling, and she was just absolutely drop dead gorgeous in it. Diana, you're silly. Yeah, she'll get there. I think that's awesome, Amy. I think that's awesome. So congratulations to you. Congratulations to your daughter. Hang on. One moment. I'll be right back. I could hear the mint banging on my teeth, and I'm really, really sorry. I love weddings. I do. I love going to weddings. I think weddings are awesome. Anyway. So, took the grandkids shopping. Had a blast with them. They are such good kids. Carter and Malaya, I'm telling you what, these are the two best kids. They really are. And Malaya is just so damn smart. She's just utterly brilliant. And here's what's really scary. In addition to being absolutely book smart, science, math, reading, she has common sense. That doesn't always happen. Trust me. I know a lot of people who are really, really book smart, have, sky high IQs, and have zero common sense. Common sense is not one of their spiritual blessings. Book smarts is. And that's great. Everybody's different. But yeah, being very book smart and having common sense, that's a dangerous combination. You didn't, Dawn. We're just coming in. I was late, Dawn. Aw, Amy. That is so sweet. She's fixing to be a great grandma in a couple of weeks. Oh, wow. That is awesome. You don't look old enough to be a great grandma. What were you, like 11 when you had your first baby? Come on, girl. Yeah, I've got grandkids who are old enough, but yeah, they're too smart to do that to me or to themselves or whatever. None of them are ready for children. Congratulations on that, Amy. I think that's awesome. Anyway, so it was a good day. I knitted all day. Oh, hang on. We're going to swoop. Okay. So because I've been in so much pain, that I can't, I actually physically, I'm mentally drained from the pain that I'm unable to write. It's just, I can't focus. I'll be going along and all of a sudden it's like, oh, just the pain hits. And I don't even have to do anything. It's just all of a sudden, I might have wiggled my toes and then, it's a new fresh hell. Anyway, so I've taken up knitting again. And yes, we'll eventually get to plotting. We will, I promise. But I have discovered a brand of yarn. People, are there any knitters here? Hold up your hand if you like to knit or crochet. I know Shannon does. How's Shannon? Hi, So anyway, it is called Respun Thick and Quick, 100% recycled polyester, 100% polyester recycle. Oh, that was the French. Recycle. Recycle? Anyway, it's from, it's Lion Brand's Sustainable Stitching. Okay? This has like a perfect weight to it and a perfect, I just call it like a little stretch when you knit with it. And the colors are freaking amazing. No, I haven't tried that yarn from Hobby Lobby. But this is like so, it is just so soft. It is. It's just beautiful. And this is the label. Okay, and it's called Respun by Lion Brand. And it's just, I don't know if it, I wouldn't think it would shrink if it's polyester. Oh, I saw a little video on that, a little short on pulling for crochet. I don't crochet. I'm just taking up knitting and I'm loving it. I really am. So this is how I've been getting through the pain. It's just, I get my recliner and I knit while I listen to YouTube videos or watch TV or whatever. Because seriously, when I'm in my chair in the office and I just can't. It's just, it hurts too damn much. So anyway, I just want a new hip. That's all I want. I just want this fixed. That's all I want. Okay. Let's talk plotting, shall we? Did y'all know how many different ways to plot that there are? Show of hands if you knew that there were more than like 3 ways to plot a book. I did not know. I did not know that there was more than, 1 or 2 different ways to plot a book. Of course you did, Amy. But those of us with ADD, Shannon, I love you. Michaela, yes, true. Diana knew. Michaela didn't. This is why we get along. But Shannon knows all the different ways of plotting. So, because I got started late, my notes are in the living room. Shannon, can you help me, dear? Can you put in, there's like the 3-act way of plotting. You're going to want to write this down, okay? The 3-act plot method, beginning, middle, end. Then there is the hero's journey. And that's where you plot everything around the hero's journey. Then there is the, what's it called? Oh, Shannon. Honey. Save the cat. Thank you. Save the cat. You never want to kill the cat. Romance the beat. That's right. That's a good one. I did have that one. I loaned it to somebody and she never returned it. So I've got to replace it. Romancing the beat is a really good one. And it's all plotting. The beats are plotting around the romance. I love the hero's journey. That's one of my favorites. Shannon's going to be typing her answers in, so I have to wait for her to catch up. So Save the Cat, the 3-act, Romance the Beat, The Hero's Journey, The Elephant Method. Yes, we're not gonna mention that yet, Shannon. But the Plot Whisperer. Yep. There are so many different freaking ways of plotting a novel. I didn't know that. Up until a few years ago, I was a pantser. Okay, pause. Is it pantser without a T, or is it a pantster? I can never get that one straight in my mind. I think most people say pantser. There is a T. Okay, so pantser, not pantster. Okay, so I was a pantser. All right, I never plotted anything. Never plotted anything. I had in my mind, I might write down, a couple post-it notes of, remember to do this, but that was it. I never plotted. But as we've talked about before, got some really great advice from an author that I love, and I started plotting my books out. And I don't know what method it is that you could call what I use. Okay, I don't know. I don't think it has a name to it. I think it's just called, the psychosis of ADD plotting. That's basically what it is. I know where I want it to start. I know where I want it to end. The middle is my journey, but I do more plotting with characters. Yeah, this is a Tisdale method. There you go, Diana. Is it psychosis or is it plotting? I love that. So anyway, I know there are lots of people who, like Hallie Bridgman's method is absolutely phenomenal. And I'm going to have her on some night to explain how she does it. But she does all her dialogue first. All the dialogue. That's all she's doing is the dialogue. And she goes back in and layers different things in. And then she goes back over it and more layers. And, tightens up scene and scene descriptions and things like that. I can't do it that way. I can't. I just can't. I think it's phenomenal, though, how she does it. And she's a friggin' fantastic author. If you've never read a Hallie Bridgman book, you need to. She's just amazing and phenomenal. And I'm not just saying that because she's my friend. I was reading her books before we became really good friends. So, how I plot is I start with my characters, okay? My hero, my heroine, my bad guy. Because I consider my hero and heroine as the protagonists. I don't have one protagonist and one antagonist, okay? So I have my heroes and I have my bad guy or my bad guys, okay? Because sometimes that's more fun to have not just one bad guy, but a couple bad guys. Add some flavor. Add some flavum, okay? So I start with doing deep dives on my characters, and we've talked about that before. What does your hero or your bad guy? What do your characters want out of life? What is the most important thing to them? What terrifies them the most? What is their backstory? Family tree, all that stuff. I do all that in my head and I put it in Scrivener in their character sheets, right? So I'm usually starting, I have an idea, I know how I want it to start, and I think I know how I want it to end. And the middle is usually, it's the filet mignon, right? It's the filet part of the steak. So I guess you could say I plot beginning the 3-act, but I never know what's in the middle until I know what my beginning and my end is. Is any of this making sense? Any of this? Any of it? I hope so. But I usually, I do the dialogue first too. M says, okay, I'm going to make this bigger. M says she does the dialogue first too. My first draft looks more like a screenplay in a novel, but I work off a 3-act outline. That is cool. Okay, so I know where I want it to start and I know where I want it to end. And usually, sometimes I know little scenes that I want to put in the middle to make it better. So that's how I plot. I guess I do a character-driven plot because I do such deep dives on my characters. Yes, sometimes as I'm writing along, they will surprise me. And what I'm trying to say is I don't know everything that's going to happen with this book once I start writing it. I know what the main meat and potatoes of the book is. I know where I want it to start. I know how I want it to end. How do I want to bring it all together? I've got a general idea, but most of my plotting is character driven. So I don't know if there is such a thing as a character driven plot. I don't know. My brain just comes up with an idea and I start writing and just go with it. LOL, muses won't let me do otherwise. Hey, that's what happens with a lot of people. But I do know that I'd say I have the who, the what, the where, and the why, then I write. That's a good idea, Angie. Yeah. That's probably what I'm doing. Who, what, where, and why. I think maybe that's what my plotting method is. Okay. Dinah says she thinks some of the classics are character driven. M asks, do your books have a theme and does it affect your plotting? What do you mean by a theme? I write Scottish historical romance and fiction. I've got heroes that are perfectly imperfect, and I got bad guys that we like to unalive in very wicked and delightful ways. And YouTube, if you're watching, this is for educational purposes only. Oh, okay. Do I tackle something like greed? Sometimes, yes. Yeah, because I've dealt with some pretty heavy topics. I mean, I've dealt with alcoholism. That was in Bergen's Promise, and it is still one of my most favorite books because I held nothing back in that when I was dealing with the alcoholism. And usually, I don't know, I made my heroine the alcoholic. And my hero helped her through all of her DTs. So, greed. Yeah, there's usually a lot of greed in my books from the bad guys. I just, heavy topics that I can't say on YouTube because I would get in trouble. Okay. Brent says, I outline like a screenplay, 3-act, with plot points 1 and 2 dividing them, where the story pivots, traditional, send the characters up the tree, set the tree on fire, get the characters down. Exactly. That is a perfect example. The Brent Jones method of plotting. That's what we should call it. If I overplot, the majority of the time my characters take me on a ride that I never saw coming, so I kind of let them drive. And that's okay. That's okay. My point is pantsing is absolutely fabulous. And I don't plot out every single page. I know authors who plot out every single freaking paragraph. It takes them 3 years to write a book because they've plotted everything. I don't know how they do it. I don't know how they do it. I can't plot out every page or every scene or even every chapter. I can't do that. But I do know that once I started doing the deep dive background on my characters and paying attention to the plot, where I start and where I end and what is in the middle, to keep things straight, not just trying to remember, and this is beyond, in chapter 3 he had blue eyes, but in chapter 7 they were gray or green. I need to be able to not have plot holes, not have potatoes. Do you all know what a tossing potato is? Tossing a potato is like you've written this book and everything's going along splendidly, and then from out of nowhere, no basis, no, for foreshadowing, nothing. All of a sudden, out of nowhere, the author throws a unbaked, hard potato at your head, and you're like, what the hell just happened? That makes no sense. I want to avoid that at all costs. Again, I love layering. I love details, and I think that's important. But again, I write Scottish historical romance. My readers expect bigger books. I still believe that you can write a smaller novel and pack a powerful punch and get your message across using fewer words but more powerful words. I still believe you need to set scenes. I still believe you need to have character development, and you can do that in shorter novels. Okay? Okay, that works. One of my author friends has titles for each of her chapters and super plots, and she writes no more than 3 books a year. Okay. And that's fine. Michaela says, I guess I go with what happens next thing. I just write an adventure I want to go on myself and hope readers will go on it with me. And that's fine. That is fine. But I still believe that you need to plot at least a little bit in order to keep things all together, right? And your plotting could be nothing more than a corral, right? To keep all your horses in. Okay. My favorite question. I love prologues. I know there's lots of authors out there who hate them. I am not one of them. I love prologues because it's a mini glimpse, just a mini glimpse at the journey I am about to take the reader on. I like having my prologue for the next book in that series at the end of the current book. So if it's a 3-book series, I have prologue for book 1, and then prologue for book 2 will be at the end of book 1, and prologue for book 3 will be at the end of book 2. I love prologues. I think they're important. Not every book needs a prologue. Not every book needs that. But depending on your genre, I think they are really, really important. Yeah, but you'd be surprised. I never read prologues. Growing up, I never read the prologue. What the hell's the prologue? Here's how stupid I was growing up. I thought the prologue was like a note from the author, so I never read that. I just jumped to chapter 1. That was growing up. Until my mother explained to me, Susie, Blondie, come here. This is why prologues are important. I'm like, oh, cool. Yes, tease the story. Think of your prologue as a tease to your story. Everybody's loving prologues. Yeah, I don't understand it either. Why there's hate for prologues. That's just ridiculous. Oh, okay. I read I think the best prologue I've ever read was in Sweet Talk by Julie Garwood. It showed us what the MC's theme was for the whole book, and I love that. Yep. Yes. So, does that answer your question, Amy? Huge fan of prologues. And epilogues. Gotta have an epilogue. Okay? Epilogues. Epilogues. It ties everything together. Right? And one of my most favorite epilogues that I've ever written, again, was in Brogan's Promise. Do I have that book here? I don't want anybody to see me walk because it's ugly, but I loved the prologue for Brogan's Promise, and I loved the epilogue for Brogan's Promise. I do. I still do. Because in that, I set the epilogue like 10 years after the end of the story and gave a glimpse at the future stories that I was going to write with their children. Let's see. Yeah, they're not always necessary, but I love epilogues. Diana says the epilogue was the first thing I wrote for my book that I never finished. I wrote how I wanted them to end before I wrote anything else. The prologue was next. Okay. And by the way, I love Julie Garwood. And yes, I did cry when she passed away. It broke my heart. I've read all of her Scottish historical novels, bare minimum 5 times. 5 times. Fell in love. She was just amazing. But yes, I love prologues. I love epilogues. But back to plotting, and that's something you can do. You can start with your prologue. You know, it can be 2 or 3 pages long if you want to. I can remember almost every first sentence of every book I've written. For Layden's Daughter, it was, the wee bairn wept as the bitter winds the snow around her feet. And for McKenna's Honor, I think it was Angus Hangs at Dawn. For Finley's Lass, it was they were just children, really. For Rowan's Lady, the Black Death did not discriminate. Yeah, I think the first sentence of any book is vitally important, and it can be something as simple as the Black Death did not discriminate. It was 6 words. And that, to me, that one 6-word sentence set the scene for the entire book. Right? I could be wrong, but I loved that. I love the line to that story. The Black Death did not yeah. Diana's, the sun streamed through the window, heating up the room to just short of a sauna. That was her first sentence. Yes, I sobbed too. I know, right? It just makes you want to cry. Anyway, plotting. So think of your book as a quilt and the plotting as the thread that holds your pieces together, right? It does not you don't have to plot every single paragraph of every single page of every single chapter. That's not what I'm talking about. I'm talking about bare minimum plot, some sort of outline that goes with it, so that you remember, okay, this is what my hero wants. This is what my hero is most afraid of. This is where I want him to end up. Okay? That simple. As long as you can keep those things in mind when you are writing your book, it's going to make it better. Yes, you can add layers. Yes, you can add more to your character as you write along, right? But you still have to know your character and where you are at in this particular book. And by what I mean by that is, your trope, your location, however you want to put it, your era, your genre. Is it, cowboy novel? Is it paranormal? Is it fantasy? Is it sci-fi? You still need to know that. But as long as you know what your hero, heroine, bad guy, what motivates them, what they're afraid of, and what their goal is, to me, that's the most important thing you can do with plotting. Okay? And the rest of it is just the threads that sew it all together. Does any of this make sense? It's like a quilt, many layers all woven together. That is exactly true. Yep. Otherwise, you end up with the one my mother-in-law hated, where the dog died in chapter 5 but was lying at the guy's feet in chapter 9. I know it's hard to keep things straight. Yes, it is hard to keep things straight, and plotting, even just one-page plot, that's all you got to do, helps you keep things together. It just makes sense. Who's got questions? It is 7:30 and I know we got started late. But what questions do you have about plotting or anything else? You can just start tossing them out there. I'm going to swoop because I love my swoop. I do. I don't know why, but I love this. It's the silly things. I am so easily amused. Oh, it's not even funny. It is just not even funny. Like a new manual can opener will just make me giggle. I mean, it's just silly things. New pill holder. I love it. It's just the silly things. I'm easily amused. Yes. And the opposite side of that is I'm easily pissed off. No, I'm just kidding. But what questions do you all have? Plotting, character development, whatever. Because I do think plotting is important. And I know we've had this discussion before. And I know there are many, many different ways of plotting. The way I do it, this is in Tisdale, is it psychosis or plotting method? The way I do it, the who, what, when, where, why, how, may not be the way you want to do it, and that's fine. But I hope you took down notes on the different ways of plotting that there are. There's the, like we said, the Don't Kill the Cat, the 3-act book, the hero's journey, all of that. Do some research into those different ways of plotting, those different methods, and see if one of those kind of rings true in your heart, in your writer's soul. Yes, Michaela, I do a character manifesto for my bad guys. Yes. But just, I don't care who you are. I don't care how old you are. I don't care how long you've been writing. I don't care if you've written 300 novels. I don't care. You can always improve your writing. I don't care who you are. An author's goal, in my mind, there are several, but one thing you should focus on is making each book better than the last. And that can be hard for some people. That can be a major, like, oh my God, how do I make this one better than the last one? Well, you can do it. You can do it. But my point is, never be afraid to learn something new. Don't be afraid to do research. Don't be afraid to improve your writing skills, right? Better writing, better covers means better royalty paychecks in my book. That's just my personal opinion. Again, this is just for educational purposes only, and you may not agree, and that is okay. But research those different plotting methods and see if one of those kind of clicks in your brain, and just try it once, even if it is just a short story. Just try it once on a short story. And if you're not sure, try a couple different methods with the same story. Okay, you might have a story idea, something for a short novel, a short story, and just practice. I have done this. I really, truly have. And it's like, oh, because I have, I forget which book it was, but I've written a book starting from the middle. Do y'all know that one? How to write your book from the middle. I've done that. I've started with this middle of the story because I have the middle, but it's like, I don't like how this begins, and I'm not sure I like how it ends. But this middle part, which is totally opposite of what I normally do, was really, to me, profound and lovely, but I didn't know how to sew it all together. Okay? Oh, Michaela, you are too funny. I've learned so much stuff since trying this author stuff. I love you, Michaela. Okay, question. I have a question that is not plot related. How much of the story do you give away in the blurb? None. You don't want to give away the story in the blurb. You want to tell the reader what the story is about. Okay? I hate writing blurbs. I do. But what I've learned is that you want to use power words in your blurbs. And we could do, you know what? Let's have a Wednesday night with the wench, and I'll have maybe a couple different authors come in and talk about blurb writing. Okay? Chastity Boland, amazing at blurb writing. She helps me all the time. She just is. She just does. I'll write a little blurb, and it's like, yeah, I know this sucks. Chastity, can you look at this and make it better? And she just works her magic, and 15 minutes later, she's back with a new blurb. And I just love her. Yes, the blurb can be used a couple different ways. It can set the feeling of the novel. Like if this is a action-packed, intense, high-octane spy novel, you've set the feeling of the book. Okay, we are going to go on a ride, right? If it's about someone overcoming an obstacle, let's do this. Let me do something, okay? Just bear with me. Okay. I've done the same thing. Okay, what did Aurora say? For my current whip, I did some research for specific locations in New Orleans just to make it more realistic. Oh, okay. Yes, power words. You want to hook the reader. Brett says, I think the hardest thing about blurbs or the elevator pitch, etc., is you know your own subject matter so well. You know every detail of this book, right? And you have to remember the receiver doesn't know shit about your story, right? So the elevator pitch. Thank you for bringing that up, Brent. Imagine you're on an elevator and you're going from the lobby to the 10th floor together, and someone asks you about this book. You only have that much time to tell that person on the elevator with you what your book is about. Okay? And you can't sit there and say, okay, it starts in Scotland in the 13th century, and my hero's name is this, and my heroine's name is this, and my antagonist is this guy, and it sits at the base of a mountain, and my clan grows really good barley for whiskey. You can't do that, okay? That is more of a synopsis or rewriting the book. Oh, see, okay. M says to write the blurb before you write the book, then tweak as needed. I can't do that. Sorry. No. If you can do that, M. Baldridge, I bow at your feet if you are able to do that. I, however, with my ADD and everything else, I just can't. I don't want to look at the blurb. But what might be a good idea? What is your book about? Okay, let's say it's about alcoholism. Okay, the hero's journey with alcoholism. So, just the blurb does not need to be this long. It only needs to be, you've got to grab them in that first tiny paragraph of your blurb. And that's the only way you can do it. I am fascinated with that, Em. No, seriously. I am fascinated with anybody who can write the blurb before they write the book. I have to give you a phone call this week, and you're going to have to explain to me how you do it. Because seriously, I can't even think. Sometimes I will get an idea as I'm writing the novel, and I will have, because I use Scrivener, I have a little notes section in the Scrivener binder thingy bobber, and I will put notes for the blurb later in that, but how in the hell do you write the blurb before you write the book? I just don't get it. Oh, message me on Facebook, darling. Send me a message, and we'll talk next week. Let's see. Dinah says, my book is about Psyche and Eros finding each other after being split apart by Aphrodite by a curse. Bring in Psyche's GGGG 1,000 times removed granddaughter, and a carpenter. Mischief ensues. And that is a hell of a good way to start a blurb. Yeah. Aurora has done it both ways. But I'm seriously, honest to God, fascinated with who in the hell writes the blurb before they can write the book? I'm sorry. I'm going to be just obsessed with that until I get an answer on how that is done. I'm fascinated. Seriously, M. Baldridge, please PM me, DM me on Facebook, and either my author page or my personal page. I don't care which. I usually check the personal page more often because with my author page in my Meta Business Suite and all this other stuff, I get a lot of spam crap in my Susan Tisdale author Facebook page. So if you want to actually reach out to me, go to my personal page, which is still Susan Tisdale, and send me a friend request or a message, and we'll go from there. Because I truly am. This is not me being a smartass. I'm truly fascinated. I want to learn. Okay, Diana says, that's like figuring out the character's fear and stuff before you start writing the story. I struggle with that. Well, I like to figure that out before I start writing the story, Diana. I want to know who my characters are. I don't have to know every single detail. Some of that can come later. But I need to know who this hero is or who this person is. And this goes for my secondary characters too. If they're going to play, any significant role, or if they might in the future get their own book, I need to know who these people are that I'm dealing with. Okay? Of course, all my good guys are good guys. And they're imperfect, right? I think it's easier for me to write my heroines more easily, simply because I'm coming at it from the female perspective. Anyway, I want to know who the people are. I need to know. Okay, I hate brooding heroes. I just really do not like brooding heroes. I just really don't. It's not my cup of tea. But there are lots of authors out there who can write a really fabulous brooding hero, right? I like scarred heroes. I like imperfect heroes. I like stubborn heroes, right? Honorable, battle worn, book smart heroes. I like those different kinds of heroes, but I want to know who they are and what makes them tick. And do I have to know every single detail about them before I start writing the book? No, but I got to know the major stuff. And I think that makes a much better story when you have plotted out your characters, when you have done a deep dive into who your characters are. I think that makes a really stronger, better, more profound novel if you know who these guys are, at least a little bit, right? What makes them tick? Why are they the way they are? And you might not know the why are they the way they are at the very beginning of your story. And that's okay. But try to figure out as you write along, who is this guy? And take notes. If something comes to you, like, oh, now it makes sense why he's doing this, write that down under his character sheet. And you all, seriously, everybody needs character sheets for every character in their novel. I don't care if it's a main character, a secondary character, the gilly, the cook, the scullery maid, the whatever. You need bare bones character sheets for every single person in your novel. Here is why. Hang on, we're going to swoop for a second. Okay. When I wrote Layden's Daughter, I kind of knew that I kind of had an idea for the second book and kind of sort of the third book. But over the years, the one character that was really not even secondary, he was more like third, was Black Richard. And for years, everybody kept asking me, when are you going to tell me Black Richard's story? I didn't have a clue. When the first time someone asked me that, I'm like, who the hell's Black Richard? Who is that? What book is that from? Oh, Layden's Daughter. And I had to go back and read his parts because I didn't take notes. I didn't know who he was, which played to my advantage later on. But you want character sheets, at least hair color, eye color, age, and what they do, right? For a living. Because that way, if you've written a really good secondary character, even if it's just a very minor part, like a scullery maid, or, one of the stable boys, or, your main character's second cousin's kid, whatever. Someone somewhere is going to connect with that character for reasons you will never understand, right? But at least you don't have to go, you don't have to go back and read and try and figure out where was this character at in what book. You've got your character sheets right there. Either handwritten, typed out and printed off and in a 3-ring binder, whatever. You can always go back and say, oh, yeah, he was so-and-so in this book, and he was just a little boy, and the author, I mentioned something about him being an orphan. Well, that might have struck with somebody, right? And now they want to know, okay, how did this poor little orphan boy who was a stable kid, a stable boy, what happened to him? I want to know. And you got another book right there. Okay? So, yeah, you can do a deep dive and they will still surprise you. Oh, hell yes. They will still surprise you and you'll be going, what in the name of God are y'all talking about? secondary and tertiary characters are so important because of exactly. Here's why they are important. Because their interactions with the main characters. I love when my main characters have good relationships with the maid or cook. Me too. Or the stable master. Or, the bread maker. Or the baker. Or the guy who makes the whiskey or whatever. Those relationships, even those small, tiny relationships that your main characters have with the secondary or tertiary characters, helps make that main character who they are. Okay? That's part of their world. Anyway, I hope all this makes sense. I really do. Oh, yay! Evelyn says, oops. I'll be watching this later this week. Can't wait. I'm taking a romance writing course and we're on Plus now. Yay, Evelyn. That's awesome. Let me know how that goes out for you, dear. Just shoot me an email, susan@susantisdale.com, or send me a direct message on Facebook. And again, try and use my personal page because my author page is a business page. And I'm telling you, some of the spam I get, oh my God. I get messages from people saying, hey, would you like to help us sell our dog food? I don't have a dog. Why would I sell your dog food? I don't have a dog. Hey, would you like to be an influencer with us? No. What you're doing is not, yeah. So anyway, or my favorite ones. Oh, you are so beautiful, and I've sent you several friend requests, but you have ignored them, and I understand it. Blah, 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 blah. No, not interested. Go away. Bye-bye. Ta-ta. So usually my regular, what I call my regular or personal Facebook page, which is just Susan Tisdale, is the better way to get a hold of me. Or sending me an email, susan@susantisdale.com. Okay. It is 10 till 8, and I would love to be here all night, but I haven't had dinner. Which I do that every Wednesday, right? We all know when I'm doing a live on Wednesday night at 6:30, I haven't eaten, and I'm surprised you can't hear my stomach growl. Thank you, Em. I appreciate that. So everybody, my challenge to you until next week is research some of the different methods of plotting. You don't have to buy the books, right? You can just do Google search. What is the, character-driven plot? What is the, what are the different ways of plotting a novel? Everything is going to come up. Okay, Ashley says, this was fun. I'm making pancakes for dinner. It was great hanging out with all of you. Yes, it was. I love hanging out with all of you. I'm taking one next week, Romance Writers Work Hub. Why is my ear itching? I don't know, but it's suddenly itching and it's driving me. Oh, and thank you. A special thank you to Michaela Jade for holding down the fort until I got here. Again, I'm really sorry I was late. Thank you to the replay crew. Y'all are awesome. I love each and every one of you. Leave a comment in the comment section. I almost always, I do try to check the comments. I don't always get notifications from YouTube that someone has left a comment. But leave a comment in the comment section or a question. I love those. Don't forget to do all the YouTubey stuff, right? Isn't that what Emily D. Baker says? I love her. I love Emily D. Baker. And Gazella from Grizzly True Crime. Show of hands. Who love those two? Who loves those two? Who is going to watch the Adam Montgomery trial? Or who else is paying attention to all the shit that's going on with the Delphi murders? I am. I just need to do a whole thing on my opinions on these 3 major cases that are coming down the pike. She's awesome. Anyway, I need to run. I gotta go get something to eat. Again, I digress because there is an Adderall shortage nationwide and I can't get the medication I need. Exactly, Diana. More than shifty. Okay, I'm gonna have to do a crime thing. Yes. Anyway, I'm going to run. Everybody have a great week. My homework for all of you is to research the different plotting methods and take a short story and try to use just one that might strike you as having the potential that you need. Okay? Just one that strikes you as interesting. And then come back and tell me what you did with it next Wednesday night. Okay? Love you all. I think you're all awesome. Don't forget to hit the like and share and subscribe. Turn on the bell, the notification bell when you hit subscribe. And that way you'll get notifications when I do a live. Okay? Love you all. Keep writing. Okay? Never give up. I think you're all awesome. I think you're all wonderful. And I will see you back next week. May your coffee cup never run empty. May your underwear not ride up the cracky ass. And may your muse sing to you sweetly and beautifully and softly. Have a great week, everybody. See you next week. Bye-bye.